Peace and blessings, family. I want to share with y'all the myth of alludio titles or alludio ownership. In brief, there are some people that are claiming that they have alludio titles for sale, but an alludio title in the United States of America is not only illegal, it's a myth. It makes no difference if you're rich or poor. There is no ownership of land, vehicles, real estate, or technically anything in the United States of America. And here's why. The government cannot allow anyone to own something in the United States of America, because if they owned it, they would have control over it, and therefore they would be able to do with it as they please. Like, say for example, we're in a car right now. You'd be like, this is our car. We paid it off. We own the car. They'd be like, no. If you have certain emissions coming out of your car, if you are traveling at certain speeds, if you're going too fast or if you're going too slow, if you didn't get an inspection, it's all kind of things that let you know that you do not own your car or your truck or your motorcycle or your bicycle. You do not own your home or your apartment. You do not own your body. You cannot go on the roof and say, it's my body. If I want to jump off, I'm going to jump off. No, you cannot. It's illegal to commit suicide. Now, you cannot have a baby. You cannot own a farm. It just simply don't work like that. An alludio title is a mythical title. It's an illusion, if you will. It can allude to ownership, meaning that you as a so-called owner can have certain rights and privileges, but the Constitution does not create any rights for you. It really creates just permissions and privileges. Under the 14th Amendment, we have privileges as citizens, as they call it, in the United States of America, but you don't have any inherent or natural or sovereign rights in the United States of America. You cannot burn wood on your property. You cannot have certain chemicals coming from your property, and the government naturally says that it has the right to protect its borders, so it has to protect its citizenship. So therefore, they don't allow anyone to fully own anything in the United States of America. That being said, there are certain things that the government give you privileges on. What are those privileges? The privileges are, you can get the title to your car. You can get a deed to your house, as long as you recognize and realize that that property is restricted. Now, as long as you understand that science, that business, there are things like you can get an LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp. You could get a 501c3 non-stock nonprofit. As long as you understand that that business entity is actually considered a separate and distinct person in and of itself, that you as the owner of your LLC is limited. It is not your business. It is what they legally define a limited liability, corporation. It's an LLC. Likewise, I'm a minister. I've been a minister 40 years. However, I have IRS recognition, 501c3 status. I can get donated houses and cars, and you can give me $5 or $50,000 or $50 million or $50 billion, and I can give you one sheet of paper with my signature called a written acknowledgement, and you can get 50% of your money back from the IRS. However, my ministry is still restricted by the IRS. I have to use that money in harmony and in conjunction with my nonprofit status. I gotta do, it's like, okay, I'm a minister. I gotta eat, so I can use money to eat. I gotta travel. I could pay for the gas with my nonprofit credit card. I gotta live. I need to get an airplane ticket, a train. I need to stay at a hotel. All that's cool. Now, I mean, they like you can get involved in politics, but you can't pick a side. You can if you got a church or a masjid or a synagogue or university, you can have Donald Trump come speak as long as you offer Kamala Harris the opportunity to speak. Now, I mean, so you can't mix the religion with the politics. There's a First Amendment separation between powers, church and state, if you will. Now, I mean, so there are restrictions on everything and everyone in the United States of America. Now, I mean, the Nation of Islam cannot do what it wants to do in the United States as a nation in a nation. You cannot build a masjid without a permit. I mean, you cannot build your church anywhere you want. You can't open a bar anywhere you want. You can't grow corn or potatoes anywhere you want. Now, I mean, there are restrictions, and these restrictions come with permits. They come with laws and rules and regulations and inspections, all that's in it. If you open up a salam restaurant, you just cannot serve bean pies or fish dinners without that county and that state and that federal government saying, okay, you now have permission to sell dinners in here. Now, I mean, they'll shut you right down. Now, I mean, so this is the reality of it. Now, I mean, but in the early years when they had that 13 colonies, they had to consolidate their powers, and part of that was they brought the 13 colonies together on the condition that they would allow the Christian preachers the liberty of not paying taxes, like the secular institutions and businesses. Eventually, the IRS made it for citizens, but originally it was just for businesses. Now, I mean, but they basically was like, okay, we're gonna exempt y'all from all that kind of stuff, but that exemption still has its limitations, and those limitations are fewer than the limitation that's on an LLC, for example. If you got an LLC, you got way more regulation, way more things. The U.S. Supreme Court explained no one has the right to shout fire in a crowded movie theater. You do not have freedom of speech in the United States. Your speech has limitations. You do not have the right to pray in the United States of America. Your religion, your spiritual consciousness, your natural ability, whatever nomenclature or scientific names you want to put it under, it all has its limitations. So alluvial titles are a myth. Now, I mean, so you just want to understand the reality of the world that you live in and make the best out of a bad situation. To learn more, visit our website at noireport.online, and 1000% of social media has terms and conditions. Facebook, if you see somebody on Facebook, they made a contract with the white man. They limited, they got restrictions. If you see somebody on Instagram, they made a contract with the white man. They're limited. If you're on TikTok, if you're on X or Twitter, whatever it is, you know what I mean? If you got a website, it's all the same, fam. If you got an email, if you use a telephone, your telephone, you have a contract that restricts your communications. You see, you have to agree to the terms and conditions if you have a credit card in the United States of America. In your pocket, if you use pennies, if you use nickels, if you got a dollar bill, your dollar bill tells you that it is legal tender. I mean, and it's signed, it has a signature on there that restricts the purpose and what you can do with that money. You can't take and say, oh, it's my money. I got $100 bill. I'm going to buy something from Africa. They'd be like, nah, you got to convert that. You got to agree to change that currency to a different value if you want to import and export with black people. So understand reality that there are restrictions on everything, and it's a illusion, it's a myth to believe that you own anything in this world. The struggle continues.